Hey there everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, as you might have seen, I'm going to go over something a little different. So I've owned a number of motorcycles over the last 7-8 years, I think it's been. And I'll probably put a few of, or I'll try to put whatever pictures I've got. I'll make a montage through all this talking so you don't have to watch me walk around through the whole video. And that was, really, that was where I got my first, that's when I purchased my first AMSOIL product, was when I bought my first motorcycle. And just about every time I've used AMSOIL motorcycle oil, I've noticed a couple of things. They typically they get a little quieter, you know, the valve train and everything gets a little quieter. Sometimes yeah, clutch basket rattle and stuff might get a little quieter, you know, balance shafts and you know, transmission shafts that are always spinning inside the transmissions. And a couple other things is I've always noticed improved clutch feel, whether it's you know, slipping on some hard shifts, or if it's just kind of the clutch engagement from a dead stop just feels so much better, so much smoother. The last thing is that most of the time your shift quality is significantly improved. You know, if it feels a little bit notchy using other products and you switch to AMSOIL, I've always noticed that it seems to a little less effort to shift between gears, and it's usually a lot smoother. So the first thing I want to start off with here is that by no means does AMSOIL, or will I, ever tell you to run your oil this long. So what happened was I had moved and then changed the oil. I've now have 2 kids with my wife, and so the kind of a lot of the maintenance stuff kind of got you know, my maintenance schedules for my vehicles kind of got a little neglected. I used to be out there, you know, every couple of weeks or something. I'd be washing my car, you know, always trying to take care of stuff. And right now, you know, life changes a lot when you have kids, and I just don't have the time to keep up with a lot of that stuff anymore. So my reasoning to myself for kind of letting this go as long as I did was that I knew AMSOIL products were very good, and I also knew that I had not put a lot of miles on this motorcycle, even though I have put many miles on motorcycles in the past, but unfortunately in the last 2 years I've only done about 1,200 miles, and a lot of that has just been to work and home, really. I have my wife and I have gone on, you know, maybe 1 or 2 30-minute rides, and it is a nice little reprieve, but it's not something that we really get to enjoy anymore, really. So the last time that I changed the oil in this Ninja 650 was in the fall of 2019. If you do the math, you'll figure out that it's been about 2.5 years since I changed the oil on the bike, and like I said, it was just under 1,200 miles. So given that, you know, some stuff, the additives, base number, you know, really held up really well, and you know, some of the stuff that you'd expect to see from, you know, somewhat frequently wide open throttle runs, and just a typical short trip cycle. That is what you see really in this oil analysis. Man, them birds are noisy. So I'll read their comments here. Check for source of a fuel leak. Fuel is at a significant level. Fuel dilution may be caused by component faults related to injectors, ignition timing, or excessive blow-by. Additional causes include heavy throttle application, engine lugging, frequent short trips, and excessive idling. Fuel dilution has caused viscosity to decrease moderately. Fuel dilution reduces the viscosity of the lubricant, which decreases film strength and lubricity and may lead to increased wear. Abrasives, silicon, and dirt are at a minor level. Boron is slightly high for this lubricant. Lubricant and filter change acknowledged. Resample at half interval. Your note was taken into consideration. So all I did in the note there was I told them, look, it's been more than 2 years since I changed the oil, and that you know, most of the time when I rode the bike, it was 9 miles one way to work. So to touch on some of their other comments here, I think the fuel dilution is probably falls under the source of heavy throttle application and frequent short trips. Maybe in the future I'll do another analysis on this, just to, you know, give you guys maybe like a 1-year update on it or something like that. So I'll get right into some of the wear metals and stuff, and so some of this I think is really good. Granted, I might run a few numbers based on the ppm per 1,000 miles and kind of see maybe where it falls with respect to my RAM results. But iron came back at 7 ppm, chromium was 0, nickel was 1, aluminum was 7, copper was 8, lead was 2, tin was 1. So I'm gonna stop right there, and I'll go over some of this stuff here. So iron, nickel, and chrome typically are from rings, and they can also come from exhaust valves and other hardened stuff inside the engine. So the next, copper, lead, and tin is obviously comes from bearing material, and so given that the viscosity was low, these numbers are still incredibly low, and I think that's partially due to the fact that, you know, I really don't. This thing travels through the suburbs. You know, the highest posted speed limit I hit is 55, and it's only like 1.5 miles or something. So, but I think that's it's a testament to how well AMSOIL still protects, despite the fact that viscosity is quite a bit lower than what it should be. So cadmium, silver, and vanadium were all 0. So next is some contaminants. Silicon was at 26, and they put an overall limit at 30 ppm, and sodium was 5 with a limit of 160 ppm. So the silicon is typically just dirt getting through the air filter. I'll be honest, I don't know what air filter is in this bike, so if someone, you know, may have dropped a K&N in or something, that could be a good reason why there's a fair amount of dirt in the oil, given the mileage that the bike has been ridden. So next, in the multi-source metals, molybdenum was 47 ppm. So again, I have a general value for the latest formulation of this 1040 MCF motorcycle oil. So they gave me a starting value for molybdenum of 82 ppm, and the result came back at 47 ppm. So the next multi-source metal is boron, and again, I got the same serious decrease in boron, and so I had sent an email back to them recently asking what was up with that, and the response I got was that they see it, well, first off, it could either be a formulation change, a recent formulation change, which is certainly possible given that this oil has been in the bike for 2.5 years. Or the other thing they said was that I think it was in some marine stuff or something like that. They saw that it really decreases with water. I'm kind of inclined to believe a formulation change with this one possibly. So magnesium started at about 13 ppm. It was 14 ppm. Calcium started about 3370 and was 3275 on this sample. Phosphorus started 1081 and was 1138, and then zinc was 1155, or started about 1155 and came back at 1312. I want to say that this should be the second oil change I've done on this bike. So there very well could be a little bit of a formulation change between when this oil was put into the bike and now. So the exact mileage on the oil when the sample was taken was 1,169 miles, and then the bike itself had 10,269 miles on it. So here's the real eye-opening part. Fuel dilution came back at 4%. And part of me is not surprised. Again, this bike does 9 miles one way to work, and it does not get any long trips put on it. It doesn't go, I don't spend a couple hours, on a weekend going out for a ride or anything, really getting it hot, burning all this stuff out of it, all of that. Given that 9-mile commute and everything, I was surprised at the water, which was, they said it's less than 0.1%. My garage takes some pretty wild temperature swings. I know that there will be days where if I open the garage door, everything, and I mean everything in the garage will have condensate on it because it stays so cool in there, and then just the wild temperature swings. So the viscosity came back at 11.3 centistokes, which puts it a little above dead center of a 30 weight instead of a 40 weight. So the oil itself started at 14.3 centistokes, and the range for a 40 weight oil is 12.5 to 16.3, and then the range for a 30 weight is 9.3 to 12.5. Now, given that the viscosity number was so low, I am incredibly happy with the wear metal results that I got out of this sample, and it tells me that even though it was 2.5 years and only 1,200 miles, no permanent damage has been done to the inside of the engine, which is really good news. So the next is the base number. So the base number came back at 9.17 and it started at 9.65. Oxidation was 37 and it should have started at 40. And nitration is 8 and should have started at 6. Well, there you go. Obviously not something that I would recommend you try with your motorcycle, but I think it's just a testament to AMSOIL products and how you can depend on them to protect your equipment, even if you do kind of get a little behind on maintenance, or maybe you forget about it for a little while. If you guys want, feel free to leave your experiences in the comment section below. Answer questions that anyone else might have. I've also, so on top of the benefits that I mentioned earlier, I've seen lots of people say that especially with Harleys. Like, it reduces the first gear clunk, and can help reduce oil temperatures as well, which as you know, with when you got a nice big engine between your legs and it's 95 degrees outside, there ain't no way you're staying cool, but every little bit helps for sure. Thank you guys for sticking around. If you made it this far, please leave a comment, like, subscribe if you feel like it. You know, any suggestions or your experiences would be greatly appreciated. If you're interested in wanting to learn more, either hit up one of the links in the description. You can shoot me an email, leave a comment. I promise I'll get back to you. And I hope to catch you guys in the next video.